2, 3. We're live, Mr. Chairman. Are you, sir?
Good night. Good night to our Belizeans, both at home and abroad, and to our
Good night,
viewers and listeners.
good night, sir.
Welcome to our 467 edition, Leonard, of our Belizean Affairs show.
Wonderful milestones.
Sir, 467. I just hope that, this 467, Leonard, has been a blessing on some people, and they appreciate what we have imparted. Just, hope and pray that, they have learned something from our 467 Belizean Affairs show.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I could tell the audience or the listeners that we are hoping that they will learn something, but even if they don't get to learn nothing, we are grateful for the privilege to be able to present it because we get to learn something. So
Amen to that.
we didn't learn to as they go along, with the
Amen to that. And as always, it's always a pleasure to sit in presence of Mr. Leonard Brackett, our senior panelist.
pleasure is mine.
He is the elder. He's my elder, so that's how I have to, right?
Yeah,
So
make us start feel like I got more gray hair than I really have, man.
I
I just try to tease by not by
I
not making the all
mean,
get too white too quick, no?
make we left that part out. When I say elder, I mean elder in mental
Uh,
and experience, right? So we left out that gray hair part out because you the mash me can.
I
But
think you're being gracious to me. They beat me up. Anyhow,
no,
I'll take the
it
credit. I'll take the credit and
it is what it is, Leonard. I call a spade, right? So anyway,
God bless you
Leonard.
always, my brother.
Anyway, Mr. Leonard Brackett. We should be joined, right, by Mr. Gregory Gregory Morrison, right, Leonard?
If he gets to his location on
Okay,
time,
okay, good.
depending on
And
traffic, no?
yes, yes. And then, we have our next panelist, Mr. Gregory Brackett. He's the Monday night chairman. So hopefully he get to uh,
I know,
free
senior
up
engineer.
and brace a senior engineer. Yes, he's the one that, queue up and show and tell from their own words. I thank him for that to be able to have that capability. Thank you, there, Greg. Um, and as always, Leonard, time is always of an essence. So we go straight into a program, and we always start our program with a prayer, then followed by a reading. And again, I like to say that we are not. This is not a church service. Like you go to church and no, we are just believers, and we serve one God, and we give thanks and praise to our Almighty.
Amen.
So, on that note, I ask Mr. Leonard Brackett to lead us in a prayer, then followed by a reading.
I will go
Thank
and
you,
start
sir.
this.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Divine loving Father, to go forth to our Creator and the Creator of earth and all and heaven and all that in them are. Into thy hands we commend ourselves once more, asking that thou would continue to be merciful unto us, that thou would bless us, guide us, strengthen and protect us. Give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Help us that we may present a program tonight that is worthy of listeners and that serves our Belizean people at home and abroad. Please continue to bless our country of Belize, its people, and leadership. Please bless this country, its people, and leadership through loving God and the rest of humanity. The knowest our trials, travails, and tribulations. We pray that thou mayest provide us with some sense of solace in these treacherous days that we are living in. We pray that thou mayest bless those who are in hurricane area, tornado areas, earthquake areas, volcano eruptions, and all manner of storms, as well as ills that are man-made. We Pray that the must continue to have mercy upon us, continue to help us to help ourselves and to help others. Please let the word of our mouth and the meditation of our mind and the contriteness of our hearts be acceptable before thy divine presence, now and always. So rest his mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I'll go
Amen.
ahead and do a short reading, Mr. Chairman, as you mentioned,
Go ahead, Leonard.
and I'll start from Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1. The words of the preacher, Mis- uh, Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
do
sir.
you have it available, sir?
Uh, I had move on.
Oh, sorry. No, no, sorry.
I have move
Uh,
on.
I know why. Sorry, it's my error. I'll just go ahead
Okay.
and read it right now. Just a
Yes,
second.
sir. Mhm.
I did not put on my reading assistant.
Oh, oh. Okay, sir. Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. So, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1 reads as follows: The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem, vanity and vanity of vanity, said the preacher. Vanity of vanity, all is vanity. What profit hath a man of all his labor, which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever.
Amen.
The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to its place where he crosses. The wind goeth towards the south, and turneth out unto the north. Each it swir it swirled about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers came, thither they return again. All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eyes is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ears filled with hearing. And that is the reading from Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1.
Thank you.
Uh, okay.
Thank you,
You're welcome,
Leonard,
Mr. Chairman.
for that reading there. You know, trying to say that everything is vanity. Vanity,
Vanity
vanity.
and extension of the spirit, sir.
Yes, sir. Um, and you cannot change what is already there. What is there is there.
Yes,
So,
sir.
but um, and you know, lately we've been talking much about the corruption that is now public. Um, Seems that it's like one saga onto another saga, and in the end, Leonard, who suffers? The reason why I want to expound more on the defense saga, the BDF saga, the security forces saga, is because I was once a serving member of the Police Special Force and serving member of the one of the first Leonard to have had the opportunity to farm the BDF, to farm the BDF.
Sure.
So it 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 hit a nerve to see 2026 where we at, and the corruption and political interference and the maltreatment of the serving men and women in the force that does not deserve, because that's not what they were enlisted for. But it struck a nerves because back then, Leonard, my people, we didn't have this kind of corruption and political interference to the extent that we have it now, 2026. So, what does that tell me? That the two-party system have have no intention of making uh, a defense the way a defense should be made in the nation of Belize. Um, because as to every step of the way, they are being shortchanged.
Mm-hmm.
So how, Leonard, I say, how can you have, and a country, Leonard, needs defense. Any country needs defense. So I wonder if these so-called leaders, past and present, know exactly what it is to be a leader of a nation, right? What is the essence? We see a lot has gone wrong and continue to go wrong in a vital department of the nation in terms of our national security, internal and external security. Very, very, very poor, lacking. It wasn't like that when the British was here. It wasn't like that even right after they had left, because I was part of it and I experienced it. I don't know if any one of these leaders there had experienced the British loyalty to the nation of Belize and what the British had contributed and what they had left us to build on.
Mm-hmm.
So my words comes from experience, Leonard, right?
Yes, sir.
So it saddens to see the way the BDF, the main force that should be called upon if needed, not the PUP
Marshals.
marshals or candidates, or no, not them. If the country of Guatemala that does not respect the independence of Belize decide to cross the border and march and take over, do you think that the PUP or the UDP marshals will be there at the border to stop them? Hell no.
They would run under their bed and try to find space to hide.
I have witnessed, and I was a part of when they had tried to invade.
Hmm.
I was a serving member at the time, along with the British. Did they proceed? No. They were commanded to make an about turn and go back across the river. And so was told to them, and so it was done. So I wonder now if just if that should happen again, what will happen? Because one, Leonard, we do not have that presence of the British anymore.
Hmm.
And our security forces, namely the BDF, who are sworn to protect our borders, they cannot hinder the Guatemalan army from marching right through.
We don't have the we don't have the number of personnel or the equipment supplied to them, and we demoralize them by getting them to, instead of being on the border, protecting the borderline and stopping the high migrations. Changing of the demography of the country. They come to the city. They are brought to the city to intimidate unarmed civilians. You got Mr.
So,
Chairman.
so Leonard, you know, I say morale has a vital role to play in the military. Morale. Mr. BDF, CBDF, I hope you would watch our program, and if
Learn what they need to
nothing
know.
if nothing take out the word morale, and morale comes under different category. If they are not fed right, no morale.
Hmm.
If they are not clothed right, Mr. CBDF and Mr. Minister of Defense,
Hmm.
wherever you are, if they are not clothed right, if they do not have the proper equipment to protect them, to guide them, do you think that you will have a good outcome? Hell no. So I just say this to say, Leonard, is that it's so sad to see how our leaders, past and present, had treated the BDF, a very, very, very vital department for the country, not for the PUP or for the UDP, for the country.
Hmm.
We see how they have treated on the Sarstone. In my time, along with the British, had never happened. Never. They tried, but did not accomplish their mission. I'm talking the Guatemalans in the Sarstone, on the Sarstone River. We have always respected each other, and always know that the half of the river farther south, that's where the Guatemalans navigate. The next half of the river to the east, to the north, that's where our security forces had navigated.
Hmm.
Never had a problem. But we see the amount of problem that we have been having lately. Why? Our leaders are not, they don't have the balls, they don't have the guts to stand up and say what is right and what is wrong to the Guatemalans, right? And Leonard, there are treaties, there are protocols, you know that protocols, you know that,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. 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 Yes, sir.
But we have always maintained that. but it's maintained no more. It doesn't matter anymore as to they would come and grab a Belizean flag and take it across their border.
Mm-hmm.
So these things are very troublesome. So my advice to the Briseno administration and whoever they are that is involved with the defense of our country, do the right thing by the BDF, do what is right. You guys talk about you all blueprint, all kind of print you know have. There's a blueprint for the defense of our country. Okay, Mr. Abide by it. Do the right thing. Purchase the right equipment and stop stealing. Stop stealing the money that should be vital to the running and the upkeep of the Belize Defense Force. So, Leonard, you've seen it, it's public knowledge. We see lately they had found some receipts and some uh, evidence on the purchasing of boots,
Mm-hmm.
purchasing of weapon, low grade weapon. Why would they want to do that? That's what I got to say on that. Because I know a high grade weapon from a low grade weapon. And I know the capability of these weapons. So 2026, don't you think that you'll want to lift the bar up for the BDF a little bit instead of bringing it down? Who thinks that way? Which general or which minister of defense had actually okayed that purchase of that? And Leonard, I it's there in public, right? To see the amount of money taxpayers paid for weapon that cannot stand, that cannot stand the fire force at the borders, at our borders, then if need be to use these weapons, right? That's what I got to say on that, and that's very so sad. Leonard, I pass it over to you because we need to talk about this because you know it's so sad to see the level of corruption and look at what department our defense all of said have this level of corruption in immigration or the police or the custom or some no but the defense of our nation. So sad. I pass it over to you, Leonard.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. As regards to the purchasing of the weapons, in the first place, the weapons that they procured initially were inferior quality, and, like you said, could not they would jam up or start malfunction after a few thousand rounds if they had to use them in any kind of confrontation. But the bad part is that the ones that they end up buying, they're not bought for border protection. They are bought for internal services use, such as police force, because they're short weapons. They're not weapons that you could snipe somebody across the border or far away. You have to expose yourself before you could actually take on or shoot any of those individuals who you have to shoot if you're a military personnel on the border. Military personnel on the border need to have long range capabilities. So if they end up in a fight, but they can retreat and still be able to protect themselves while they are retreating. You don't give those type of personnel a weapon that you give a regular police officer that does close contact or close hand to hand, close combat. So you have to procure the type of weapons for the type of services that you expect police people to be involved with. And then they sell the thing to the government at such a high price compared to what the government could have gotten it for if the government was making its own procurement. Okay, they have local Belizeans who are friends of powerful people who they give these contracts to, who then go to the real um, weapons procurement person and cut a deal so that they can have part of the money withheld for them as profit. So then the forces are not getting the full effect of the money for service. If somebody, a middleman, for example, is always cutting off part of what's to be expended, they're cheating the defense department when they do that kind of stuff. It's a lack of patriotism. And basically, it's a hustling game that goes on. As regards to the food stuff that they buy, you have 1,500 people to 2,000 approximately. And these people are not eating all those food that the department is claiming that they're buying to service them because they give them all kind of other inferior food, patted meat and hash brown and canned goods. And so, you know, of course, the personnel on the border line itself, some of them are getting RMEs, right? And at the end of the day, the amount of chicken that are being bought, the amount of pork that is being bought, the amount of um, short ribs that is being bought, the amount of
Lobster and conchs
lobsters,
and all the
yeah,
nice sirloin steak and all that.
that stuff doesn't go to the average BDF soldier, as acknowledged
That's for
by some of the
sure.
high authorities. So why are they spending those guys' resources on that kind of lavish expenditure instead of giving these guys what they deserve? Probably a raise a pay so that the family could live a bit more comfortable at home. These soldiers don't mind making the sacrifices, but they need to be compensated adequately. They need to be treated right so that they can be happy when they're in the field doing this strenuous type of services on our security behalf. But no, what they do is they give special contracts to special friends who are mechanics or who are engineers, and the people who actually raise the chicken or raise the beef or do any of these kind of fish or do any of these things don't get the contract. They get a contract from the middleman, and the middleman keep most of the money because when the middleman go and buy, buy at retail price, they buy at wholesale, and then they charge the government a lot more than what it actually or what the government could have gotten those items for. And then, like I said, some of the items that they claim that they are buying, the security personnel, the soldiers, them are not getting to participate and consume those things.
Sad.
They buy so much, thousands and thousands of pounds of beef, thousands and thousands of chicken, thousands and thousands of, you know, I mean, the amount of food that they are buying is like if they had an army that is probably 3 or 4 times the size of the army that we have, and the people are still not getting the stuff. It's just a racket, and some of them need to go to jail, but they won't go to jail because they will not be prosecuted. Because already the prime minister himself opened his mouth and speak when he's not supposed to speak to say that he don't see anything that was being done wrong. Then he turned around and tell us, well, we need to wait to know if anything was done wrong for the audit to come out. Shut the damn mouth. Stop talking to things that you don't have the answers for. Stop making a clown of yourself and think that you're talking to a bunch of fools out here. As Belizeans, we may be the smallest country in Central America or the second smallest, but that doesn't mean that we're all a bunch of dots or a bunch of idiots. So stop taking us for fools. The money is spent, they're spending more money than they used to spend before, which is natural in a sort of way, but they're not getting the items that they're procuring for the price that they're supposed to procure it for. That's the point of the complaint. If they're buying these, procuring these items, and the people for who they are procuring it are getting the best use of it, there's no problem. That's what the system and the process is supposed to be about. Not about the hustling. And they want to get hot under the collar when people complain about what they're doing wrong. They want to make laws to say you can't complain, you can't criticize them. And they want to lock you up because if you get on the Facebook and point out what they're doing wrong, you're pointing out what they're doing wrong is worse than the wrong that they're already doing. Bunch of jackals. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard, for stating the way you feel and how you see it.
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman.
Um, like you said, Leonard, that you know you don't think that any one of them will go to jail, but Belizeans should demand, the taxpayer should demand that somebody be held accountable, right? Because it's plain to be seen, it's out there in the public, and numbers doesn't lie. Words are there, and invoices are there, and payments are there, and then so then you have the whistleblower, Leonard. And you know what? Publicly, the prime minister denounced that, right? He don't know that whistleblower, don't know what he's talking about, and believe the whistleblower,
Mr.
right?
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, sorry to interrupt you, sir, but could you let me make a statement quickly?
Go ahead, sir.
I'm going out on a limb because I tested the limb before, and the limb is strong enough to hold up my weight.
Yes, sir.
But if by making the decision to go to that limb, the limb end up the broke and I get hurt, I don't mind.
Yes, sir.
I will still say the way I think I feel about it, and that is that they're proposing now to have a forensic audit. Before the forensic audit is completed, you're going to have what you call a revised cost analysis and benefit effort being expended. That is that before the audit is done, they're going to take all the materials and collate them and fudge what they have to fudge or fix what they have to fix so that the final audit comes out looking, or smelling good. Anybody who has worked their salt as an auditor can perform that kind of job on behalf of the government or any client of theirs that needs to have that done. And at the end of the day, then you can't disprove that they did something wrong. Why? Because what the audit picks up then is just exactly what was created for the audit to pick up. And the
Amen to
audit will
that.
reflect exactly what, the corrections and modifications and the changes and the validations and all the numbers would coincide or work out.
Like everything else.
Like the Buna scenario, right?
Yes, sir.
They had three different investigations. And from the first to the second to the last investigation, there was nothing there. What they had found out in the first investigation, for which the Prime Minister had sent the commissioner on leave for 45 days, turned out not to have been validated by the facts after they engineered the information and then cover up all the evidence and clean up the stuff and produce the report. The purpose of the report was not to show the skullduggery, It was to cover up and to try and make what was being said, you know, even though we saw the evidence on the tape, okay, they turn around and tell us what we saw we shouldn't believe because that wasn't so. In the first instance, they turn around and say, okay, well, the tape that we saw, they don't have access to it or they don't have that tape. They could have seen the very same tape that we saw if they don't want to. If they had decided to take off the tape off of the original um, equipment. But the fact that the information was already out in the public, you know, so what they did is they stalled and played it out. Then they had the other second investigation, and then the third investigation, which was handed eventually to the DPP, to whom that investigation should have gone from the inception instead of going to the Prime Minister. The DPP turned around and said there was less than nothing. So it means that they didn't do a proper investigation. They didn't provide her with any um, proper policing effort that she could use any of those documents to prosecute anyone. So there's nobody for her to prosecute. Why? Because they had already gone back and clean up what they needed to clean up, you know. And that's how these jackals operate. You have also the issue of this minister who gave his son a 30-year contract. Now he's not going to be in office for 30 years now. He's only in office for 5 years at a time. Okay, but he won't take we patch money and give for his son, make for his son cut wood from our forest for 30 years in the first instance, with a renewable contract for another 30 years to turn it into 60 years. And the son is not going to cut no lumber because he's not a miller. He's not somebody that really does that kind of work. He just get the contract and he won't turn around and sell it for a few $1 million to some other venture, either the Mennonites them who do cutting or some of the Chinese who put their, you know, and the guy won't walk away with a few $1 million in his pocket.
Right on the money. Right on the money.
That's how they operate.
Yes, sir.
They enrich themselves from our patrimony and they turn around. And when we tell them about it, they want to become offensive or hateful or
You're
hostile.
very bad. You're a very bad person there, Leonard. Very bad. Very bad guy.
So, Chairman,
We can't trust him.
I'm tired of these scoundrels, okay? Tired of the skullduggery and chancing people because there's a lot of people that could, the money that they're cheating from the BDF department and other department, those monies could have gone into other government services to the public or for the indigent people or for the hospitals or for whatever
Exactly.
other thing.
Exactly.
There's people that
Exactly.
are dying because they can't get medical attention. They don't have the money to go abroad and get the attention.
Exactly.
I
So,
seriously wish that some of these guys would end up in jail. I'm going to continue dreaming about it, hoping about it, and maybe one of these days I'll get lucky. Some light come flashing on my head with an idea that will allow this to come about. Because they don't want to put UNCAF in place, and that's exactly what we need. If we had UNCAF in place, a lot of them would end up in jail, but they don't want to have it done. They want to keep riding free and stealing from us and doing all the craziness that they have been doing before.
only if I had the power.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. You know, so my people, you see all the public hullabaloo, um, and then they got caught and the Mira and the Marine guy, they sent him off on a nice little vacation, paid vacation, and go and enjoy yourself and have fun and help continue to the money you already got, just use it and have fun with it and do whatever you want to do with it, but just don't sit on that seat for 3 months, right? For 90 days. And then after they did that,
They're going to bring
they
him back, just like how they did with Mr. Perez.
is they padded it up and they said, well, you know what, no, just relax up yourself, right? And I will say that I will do an audit, and this is how it's going to happen, like you rightfully says. The person has, and who picks these people to audit? So, and who are these people that are auditing? You already, one of them, the
Relative is
head
a
audit
relative.
is related to a Marine.
Uh-huh. And you think
That
that head
that's
auditor, do you think the head auditor do anything than what I just said just now? Clean up the books for the situation so that when the report come out, it doesn't reflect bad on him.
I am of
She
the
not
same
damaging
opinion,
anymore.
right? So that is what is going to
Bogus.
happen, Leonard. And then you see how they congregate and how they sit and they plot evil against the taxpayers, because
Mm-hmm.
it's against the taxpayers, evil against the taxpayers. They caught the Recondev guy, the Mira brother and the Mira crowd red-handed,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what they, oh yeah, I'm going to do, I'm going to reshuffle it. I'm going to form a new board, Recondev board.
Let us laugh at
Uh,
what they did.
what? Who does that? What kind
Funny
of a
things.
guy would do something like that, right? And I'm not going to say who is on that, who is still on that board, and who are these people are. And then you have the union girl, Miss Witt. I know her, Miss Ella. I know her very well. But that's not my sister. He said before. Oh yeah. Well then he shift. Oh yeah. Well, you know um you don't hear her say anything.
They're all covering for each other. They're all covering for each other.
Right. So there you go. A habitual practice, and you see, Leonard, we are trying to protect the taxpayers, right? We are trying to call out the ills,
Demand
because I
accountability.
wouldn't, yes, sir, I wouldn't give a hoot if it's Britannia money or the UDP money or the PUP money. Well, like I wouldn't, I wouldn't give a hoot if it was any two-party system money. My mouth would have been sealed. I don't give a hoot what they do with their money or how they get it, right? But no, it's the hard-working men and women of the nation of Belize, the
They keep,
taxpayers' dollars,
and they keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. Yeah.
right? And then at the end of the day, they think hard to pay a pensioner that has worked 25, 30 years, 40 years in the
Mm-hmm.
public service. Think hard to pay them a couple of $100 a month. Think hard. They have so much paperwork they had to do, so much things to do to get that measly little benefit. Leonard, so sad.
While they're
And when
spending
they get sick,
millions.
when a taxpayer gets sick, right? A public servant gets sick, right? They try to put them off medically unfit and send them off with nothing, because then they have some doctors that they pay. And
Uh-huh.
this same sick, hard-working man or woman has to go sit on a board, right? On a social security board, right? So that they decide your fate. Who does that? And for what, Leonard? A couple $100? Huh?
Well, they hold back those couple $100 to themselves so that they could increase their pay or get more benefits or more perks.
And then publicly you see the millions of fleecing,
Mhm.
millions of taxpayers' dollars fleecing. Just hold on, Mr. Mira, Miss Mira. You, the one that has the construction company, and he supplying beef or supplying to the BDF. He in no kind of hardware business. He's in the construction business.
Never
But
kill a
he
never kill a cow in your life.
like, you understand?
In fact, not even a chicken
And,
I
and,
think they
and
must
then,
kill.
Leonard, we are supposed to be quiet and supposed to be silent.
That doesn't mean that we are complicit. Can't go there.
Wow. Wow. And these people come to the nation and in the house and in around the world, they love the Belizean people, Leonard. They love the Belizean people. And this is the best that they have ever lived in 43 years, from the
Hmm.
words of Mr. Johnny Briseño. the best Belizean have ever lived in 43 years. As he said that not too long ago, publicly, so you can't sue me for it. He said it.
Mr. Chairman, I could say something that maybe he or many other people would want to say. Maybe he can sue me for libeling or for denigrating his character. But it's true, and I'm going to say it. What you just said just now, that the Belizean people are living better than at any time in the history of the country, could be true in terms of him being a Belizean and him having more assets and riches and living larger than he has ever lived. Let him prove that to be wrong, or prove that what I'm saying is not so, because that is precisely what it is.
And
He has more assets acquired to him. He's richer today than he was yesterday and the day before yesterday and any other months or weeks or years before then. Let them
and
prove it.
yet, Leonard, and yet, as we sit here calling out the ills, there are Belizeans out there that sees that these people do nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm telling you, right? And you have the 31 of them. It's okay with them that they swore to serve and protect the nation, the people and nation, swore in the Bible, all 31 of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? That this nothing wrong has been done. No, you don't hear them making no kind of statement as to the ills. No,
But the law
but
says that they're not supposed to self-enrich, and that's precisely what they're doing. Mr. Chairman, I
I
think
want to welcome, yes, I want to welcome our next senior panelist, Mr. Monday Night Chairman, Mr. Gregory Brackett. Welcome you, my brother. It's always a pleasure to
Thank
sit
you,
in your
Mr.
company. Sir,
Chairman.
you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good night to you, gentlemen,
good night, sir.
and to the
Good
people
night,
at
sir.
home and abroad. Thanking them for tuning in to this, our 467th edition of Belizean Affairs. Gentlemen, I was in the back there listening to what you guys were saying. But we have sat on this platform for more than 2 years. And we have lamented on these things before they happen because we know they would have happened. We see at this time Mr. Dylan Vernon is trying to speak about campaign financing when we have put that out there so many times and nothing was done about it.
It's just a
We heard the
distraction.
Prime Minister speaking about they have to pass campaign financing law, which they refuse to do. And even so, at this moment, it will not be done because it is my belief, and I have a strong belief, the only way they can win these elections is to buy it out. Outright.
Amen to that.
And I'm saying this because I have a strong belief based on what the present government is putting out there to the people. They're asking you to set aside this scandal that is happening and look at what they have accomplished.
What they
Now
have accomplished,
imagine that.
what they have accomplished is the racketeering efforts and stealing of our patrimony. That's
Sorry
what they
about
have
that, Greg.
accomplished.
Sorry, but I got to laugh on that one. Go ahead, my brother. Sorry about that.
But that's what they're asking the people to do.
Wow.
You heard Mr. Shibat said it, and you heard the good gentleman, Mr. Musa, doing the same thing
Distractions.
by trying to tell the people that the present government is having a good chance now to do something that no other party has done, to fix the procurement deal. But I don't need to remind him that was not what your party win the election and told our people. When you went in and the people voted for you, they voted for you because you said, as a part of your political campaign, that you will have disclosure and you will hold individuals accountable.
Yes.
And I don't have to repeat that because that is what has been happening. Campaign financing has been going left and right, and taxpayers' money have been used for political reasons and for ministers to win election.
True on that.
Mr. Chairman, I want to go to a tape.
Go ahead.
I think it will, to an extent, restore some level of trust that we've seen have been eroded over time. I think a lot of people are upset at the fact of in certain areas there are lack of accountability and transparency, and I think this is the perfect step in fixing that. For me, I have nothing to hide. I mean, most of my campaign, when I compare it to the other big ministers or whatever, for me, the local government race, I don't solicit a lot of funds. So for me, I wouldn't have an issue with that. And anyone who is financing my campaign usually has the best interests of myself and the city at heart. So I'm sure they wouldn't have any difficulty disclosing as well.
Do you ever see it as an investment from the financier to say in the future, I want something in return?
I don't see it like that. I see it as businessmen seeing an investment in their country and their cities, so making sure that they protect their investment. I think if the proper people are at the helm, especially where local government is concerned, then they have a level of ease as it relates to doing business within the city. I think they look at it from that standpoint.
Man, the double talk, Mr. Chairman.
Now, how can you tell on yourself?
Tell
Double
on
talk.
yourself there, Mr.
You
Greg.
don't
Tell
see it
on
as
yourself.
that. You see it as businessman trying to
Amazing,
protect
man.
their investment. That is why, Mr. Pollard,
Oh,
they are giving you campaign financing so that
Come
you
on.
can support them
Exactly.
business wise.
Exactly. Exactly.
but it's not that Mr. Pollard no understand what he say. Mr. Pollard is smart enough to understand what he say. He
No,
hope that when he talk and say what he say, the average Belizean who vote for him in his district or in his division, which are the poor black rural people there mostly, won't figure that out or won't catch on. That's how onerous these people are. They're slicksters.
go ahead, Greg.
Why is this said, Mr. Brackett? But I want to say this because the way the young man said it is like, okay, I'm a small figure. It's not like the big election. So then the question has to be answered as to is there a small lie or a big lie?
A lie is a lie,
Ain't a lie
regardless
a
of.
lie?
Wow, wow. You see,
Is
these youth,
there
Greg,
But
these youths are schooled too. You know, they are
they're slick,
schooled by
slick.
by
but
whoever in the party they support them.
Mr.
No,
Chairman,
they're schooled. They are
you
young
cannot
kids. To me, they are kids. Right. Go ahead. Go ahead, though.
Mr. Chairman, you cannot be school when you are telling the world you solicit campaign financing, but not as big as the major parties. So
Wow.
you telling on yourself and your party.
Wow.
And
Let him
this
man in
is
charge
what
of that.
we have spoken about. And
Yeah,
that is why Mr. Vernon is trying to come up with this campaign financing thing. But it's
distraction.
been around for a long
Distraction.
time. I could throw something out there from my belief, Mr. Ashcroft, on both sides. He
Exactly.
buttered the knife on both sides to get his business agendas going.
He's a businessman, isn't he? Protecting his own interests, isn't he? So
Exactly.
Exactly what the young man said. I go back to you, Mr.
oh
Chairman.
And
man,
on the campaign financing, these guys they have it down pat there, Leonard and Greg, right? When the ruling party PUP is in power, they uses the taxpayers' money and they use the taxpayers' assets, namely their vehicle, their petrol, their workers. The taxpayers pay for their campaign, right?
they
Same
give
as the
out,
UDP. The UDP do the same thing. They do not use their own personal money.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm
What they
telling
do,
you,
what they do is that they use
on
the
any
government.
election or
The go-
campaigning, you watch the vehicles that are in these villages and all. It's the government vehicles. Government workers are
yes, but they,
campaigning.
they give the government money to for them cronies, so the cronies then go, they give them contracts and they overbid the contracts, take out the money out of the treasury and the false pretext, and then turn around and use that same money
Yes,
that according to them
yes,
legitimately was earned and paid by the government. So
yes.
they don't have no problem with that because that's money that's adequately earned. But they actually overpay, and the kickback is what they use to finance or give as donations. So they're fighting somebody when they deserve their money from the government coffers to give it back to them when they need it to their campaign. But then
Greg,
when the opposition is out of government, the opposition now have as much people to give them resources. So the one in government will always have more resources than the one out of government. And that's the scam. That's what they're talking about when they bring up this
exactly,
nonsense about
exactly.
political campaign financing. They're trying to distract the people from the pressures that they are currently under in terms of
But
how the
but
people feel about their behavior.
Mr. Brackett,
Just a scam.
didn't Channel 7 show the Bacon House?
Exactly.
Huh? The Bacon House with the
And
lines?
Greg and Leonard, don't you think that the election and boundaries in terms of, whenever an election is coming, should not show partisan? Don't you think that there should be a entity that should not be involved in showing favoritism
But
to
they are
any,
captured by the government
right?
because they are government employees.
Right?
They're civil servants.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
the civil servants that work there need a job and have to depend on the good grace of the department head them who are politically compromised because they are being
We
given
have seen
other goodies.
lately now election is coming, guys, right? And you see that there are petitions out there to take people off the list. They are taking, they're moving people by busloads around the country, right? And there are some rejections, um, you know, but it's so sad to see how these things are happening, and it's been happening and nothing is done about it. The election and boundaries, does not, bring the hammer down and no, they facilitate. Not too long ago, the guy up here, Figueroa, the ex-minister, UDP minister, had
Hmm.
a list of people that was
I
want
remember.
to, right?
I
What
remember.
happened? Right? The Shine
He
the
still put
Shine
them back
Barrow
on.
guy,
He
he,
still
he,
put them
he
back
says
on.
he don't live at this location and that location, and right? They even had him to be taken off the list, right? So man, it's
They
so
went to
sad.
court. They went to court.
Right? They went, you know, I mean, Greg, what you got to say about that?
Oh man.
We
Miss,
see them
Miss,
move bus loads, Greg. We see them move bus loads from across the border. I personally made it public. I even stood up and talked about it in election and boundary meeting, right? And it's a habitual practice by both party
And
bringing people.
both sides criticize you for doing that. You
Yes,
have to
sir.
expose
Yes,
them in
sir.
hand.
They didn't like what I said. They didn't like it. They turn around and look at me. Both of them, the UDP and the PUP that was in that meeting, right? But anyway, what I'm saying is that, right, habitual practice. They bring busload every time an election from across Melchor. These people do not live here.
Mr. Chairman, to answer your question, let me go to the tape first because I want
Wow.
to show the people how ludicrous the Election and Boundaries Commission is.
This exercise is extremely important because many times we hear people complain about persons actually voting where they no longer reside. And I want to encourage the public and specifically registered electors, if you have moved, then go into the Election and Boundaries Registration Office in the division where you now reside. The law provides and it states that those persons shall inform the Election and Boundaries Department. I know that many times people believe that they have an opportunity or they could decide, but the law is specific to say that those persons shall visit the Election and Boundaries Department to do their transfers. And so it is important if we want to see free and fair elections, that in order for you to be eligible to register and for you to vote in any election, you must be 18 years or more, you must be a Belizean citizen.
I stopped the tape there because
Oh,
the rest don't
well,
matter.
crap.
She is using a big word. A big word.
Shall.
Shall.
Wow.
But isn't that what the Constitution says about redistricting? Shall. And
No,
we are
she
not
don't know the meaning of the
talking.
Mr. Chairman and Greg. I'm not taking away your chance, but that lady doesn't know the meaning of the word shall, even though that's the big word that she's trying to use to get by in terms of violating people's right to be registered wherever they want to be registered. There's no law in the country that says that you cannot register in any particular division or any particular area, or that you can't run if you live out of a certain area, and you can only run if you live in a certain area. There's no law like that yet, and someday they will end up doing it because
Yes.
as a bunch of scammers that they are,
Yes.
they'll get help to that and do it one of these years. Because a lot of them right now not living in the area
But,
where they
but
represent.
beyond that, Mr. Brackett, the word shall. She is using the word shall in a law that is made by man, substantive law, when she is not
Cannot trump the
using it
Constitution. Cannot
from the
trump the Constitution.
Constitution, when the Constitution says shall, the law of the land. And the way she's putting it is as though you can be arrested
That's exactly what
if
she's trying to
you
intimate.
don't.
She's not stating it exactly in those words, but that's the way she's intimating it to put fear
Right.
in people and let people do. In other words, for let people violate their own basic civil rights, because under the provisions for the 1954, I think it was, or 56, I don't remember. But when we got the what you call it, the adult suffrage stuff, okay, that law prescribes that people are entitled to vote, and it did not mandate for people to vote in only areas where they were living, okay, and that is part of our fundamental constitutional rights, which says to the government and the election and the boundaries department that they shall have a referendum if they want to make any alteration to those people's basic civil rights. They got to come and have a referendum so people can decide whether or not They want that to become their constitutional inherent rules. They can't just arbitrarily and capriciously go to the House and make a law that trumps the Constitution. That's an overthrow of the system. That's bogus. That's
Go,
onerous.
go ahead, Greg.
But
Acting like they're crazy.
they cannot do it. You are trying to enforce the law and the people when the gross violator is the government you work for, who refuses to do redistricting.
But she's the person substantively responsible for doing the redistricting itself. She's the one that puts that directs the employees them to put together the voting list and directs the employees them to put together the report that is sent to the House of Representatives for changing of districts or increasing or reducing of districts, and also for deciding the Section 90 issue of how much people go in each division. It is her responsibility to do that. And then her failing to do that means that the House of Representatives doesn't have anything that they have to address, even though they all know that the matter is unconstitutional. But that's part of the scheme and the game that they play, and they do hanky panky and wash each other hand.
Yeah.
They're a bunch
Go,
of criminals. They need to go to
yeah.
jail.
I go back to you, Mr.
Go ahead.
Chairman.
No, Greg. But I want to ask you guys, right? So why are these people being taken to in front of a magistrate, right? That the ones that they when nothing is still, they still don't do anything about it, right? You see, we see it play out. I'm trying to say, we see it play out continuously. The same thing whenever it comes to time to people to move their votes, or so, you have this kind of events taking place, right?
Uh,
And nothing comes out of it.
Mr.
That's my
Chairman,
point.
on that same point, on that same point,
So she's
why do you
trying
think
to
they
put
go
it
to
now that it's the
they go?
voters' responsibility. She's coming with her well, anyway.
Make a point out something to you. When they go to the magistrate court, it's to deal with civil law issues. They're not dealing with criminal matters. Okay? When they go to the Supreme Court, then
We're not talking
can
about Supreme Court here,
no, but wait.
right?
I'm
We're
trying to
talking
say something
right,
to you. I'm
okay,
trying
all
to
right.
explain. I'm trying to explain something to you. How you learn and how you understand what is it when they try to play a head game and they try pull the wool over the people in the head. When they say that they have to go to the magistrate court, for example, to dispute whether or not they are entitled to register and or to vote in certain
Yes,
areas,
sir.
okay? The magistrate is, for all intents and purpose, an officer of the government that is there as what they call it oh man, okay, basically what I'm trying to say though is that the magistrate at the magistrate level, okay, the magistrate is going to rule according to the local laws that the government writes and put in place. The magistrate is not a constitutionalist. They will not address and or discuss or debate anything that the government put in law as a law that the House of Representatives makes. The magistrate can't determine whether it's legal or illegal or lawful or unlawful. It's out of the magistrate's purview. So when they go and they make these side laws that tells you if you know go and register, like what she tried to say just now on the tape, you as an individual know that you have moved from one address to the next, so you're
You
supposed to
commit one offense.
volunteer. Right, that's what she's trying to intimate. Okay? And she's trying to use fear in the minds of the people to say
Mr.
that
Brackett,
if the people don't go and register at the correct address that they want to vote, then that's the person's
in
responsibility, and they are committing a crime, and therefore they are not entitled to vote.
but Mr. Brackett,
It's a
let me
sham.
help you here. Let me bust this lady bubble right here. Cause she ain't saying nothing. These people telling themselves. And when the heat is on, they're trying many
run, go
different ways to get by it.
Mm-hmm.
Make it make sense to me in what she's saying. Listen to this.
I think that they should have a say, and I am on record as having said that when it comes to voting in our general elections and city council elections, that we need to consider a possible amendment to the law to remove that 3-month residency requirement and to make room for diaspora Belizeans to be able to come and register to vote, because that is a barrier that prevents them from registering, because they can't say, I live at this address for the last 3 months. They live abroad. And so if it is that we can amend the legislation to say, hey, I live in Chicago, this is my address, here's proof of the fact that I live there, but this is my family home in Belize City, or this is my family home in Cayo, and I want to be able to register there. A simple amendment to the law can provide for that, for them to be able to come home and vote during an election. And so that would then open it up, at least as an initial step, in allowing diaspora Belizeans to have a say in our elections. It doesn't matter that they are living abroad, but that they can register at an address here in Belize, a family home. So you provide proof of your address living abroad, whether it's a utility bill in your name in Chicago, and then you come and you register to vote at your family address. So adding a provision in the law to allow for diaspora Belizeans to vote, that is something that I would definitely support.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on a second, Mr. Brackett,
Okay,
because
go ahead.
there is two things here
Go ahead,
that
sir.
I must say to the people at home and abroad. This is why the first one, what the lady says does not matter.
Exactly.
Because if you will have people, if they amend the law and have people just using addresses to vote, it will not be as she's stating.
Precisely.
Amen.
Two.
Amen.
Number two, and people at home and abroad, you must listen when these ministers speak. Because if you amend the law as Mr. Musa is stating, then there will be no redistricting. Redistricting is out the door, because anybody could go and use any address, and it will not be equal or close to equal as the Constitutional says. I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Leonard. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What you said, Greg, just now is correct. But what Mr. Musa was trying to say is also correct, but coming from an incorrect perspective. And that is that there was no reason for him to go and change the law the way the law currently is, because the way the law currently is should not have been the way it is right now in the first place, because they went ahead and changed it and put into law something that should not have been done. Belizeans are Belizeans, just as what he stated in that same later on in that same comment that you just played for him. Later on he says, Belizeans are Belizeans, okay, we're part of the world, and there. That is the way the Constitution has been saying it from the first time I came up, and I was beating them over the head with it, because once you're a Belizean, you're entitled to all the rights of any other Belizean.
But Mr. Brackett,
wait,
not to cut you short, because
go ahead.
we had speak about this oftentimes.
Go ahead.
If he's saying Belizeans or Belizeans, right?
Yeah.
Isn't they the one who is blocking them with the 7th Amendment? When we have discussed that here, that the Constitution says you cannot violate the right of born Belizean. No, he's coming back specifying the same thing we have been saying.
Because then
you don't have to amend nothing.
Then the double tap.
They should have the right
the Constitution,
to freely
is the supreme law of the land. They are telling us that they got to go on now and change a bogus law that they have there that precludes and stop born Belizeans from being able to participate in their fundamental rights. Okay? Under adult suffrage, as I mentioned earlier, that authority and right was vested in the people from the time we had adult suffrage as a law.
Amen.
So he don't have to go back and change no law. They need to go throw away the damn law with them put in place, because
the 7th Amendment
and inconsistent with the country.
Tear it up. Tear it up
or if they think that they want to do something, clear up the facts. But they want to make bastardized laws and then turn around and say, okay, oh, they are clearing up the facts by just make a few changes here and a few changes there. Clean the damn thing up, throw it out altogether if need be, and let the Constitution stand on its own. But when they bastardize the Constitution, what they're trying to say to the public is that we can give you these rights and we can take them back if we so choose.
Exactly.
Baloney.
Because what they did with the Seventh Amendment is similar to what Donald Trump is doing. They are taking away rights from Belizean by telling you you won't be allowed to vote until they deal with the Seventh Amendment. That's taking away birthrights, and the Constitution forbid them from doing that. And we have discussed it more than once. So the good gentleman...
He's just coming around to trying to acknowledge now.
No, what he's coming around to do is telling us here in Belizean Affairs that we have been right all along. That now they are trying to catch up on what we've been saying. Because it's always that.
But we're supposed to be grateful to them for them to go and undo the craziness that they did. And we must be so grateful to them for them not violating the Constitution. I want them to explain that to me. All they're doing is playing hanky-panky and divide and conquer games with local Belizeans, among whom they have different groups. One group saying, well, they don't want the Belizeans that are not living at home to participate in the politics of the home, but they want the Belizeans who are living abroad to finance the politics that is going on at home. When the Belizeans living abroad bust their ass out here to make the money to finance the politics back home, okay? Because it's our own people, and we are in support of our own people. But we are good enough to provide the resource, but since we know to live home, and we know to suffer the consequence of whatever is it when we vote, who we vote for, and who, we don't suffer no consequences according to them.
So,
us working with ourselves is no consequence, and sending our money back there.
We have
sometimes we need, but we know we family need it more, and we could always get only extra change out there, so we send it to them. We prepare for the nonsense, but then they carry on and the stealing when they do, then they rob from we local people, then they raise the prices of everything, then they hustle for we people, and now we are the one that make the money for make them get the hustle. But we supposed to get disenfranchised from our born Belizean constitutional rights. Then could trample from we constitutional right to deprive we of we rights, and then turn around and have some of the Belizeans then believe that, well, I shouldn't call them. I don't be disingenuous to this point because it's not a debate between me and the other names I was going to call. I was just making a statement and let me leave it at that. The bottom line is that if we are good enough to find a way out of the country to make a living and to help the people back home, because we can't do it at home, some of those who actually are not, in a position to do it, that's why they won't come to America, because America is greener pastures. And it's easier for them to, and when they finish work out there, if they get sent home, they want to mistreat them and treat them and relate to them as if they are criminals because they were sent home. It's a crime that they come out in the first place. So on that basis, then they should have all kind of attitude towards them. But once the money the roll,
well said.
No attitude.
Yeah, Leonard.
When the money the roll, then you got the attitude. And I'm saying that Belizeans have a right, regardless of what part of the world they are, to be respected and be given the same Belizean privileges or whatever comes with being a Belizean, regardless of what part of the world you're there and how you get to that part of the world. Are you back, Mr. Chairman? I'm sorry about that.
Greg and Leonard, right? I think that we have some very intelligent people in the diaspora and around the world, Leonard and Greg, right? That I think that they should pull together and stop these people when they come double talking to them and put them right in the right place, right? And quote some sense into them, right? Quote some sense. Right? And stop facilitating their double talking.
Exactly what you're saying, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, exactly what you're saying. Exactly what you're saying just now. That people should do out here is what was done to Mr. Barrow Senior, and that's why he went home and they put together that Amendment
Seventh
7
Amendment.
to
Yeah,
be
I
spiteful to the
remember.
Belizeans
Yes,
them out here,
I remember.
okay,
I
to
remember.
disenfranchise
Right.
them. They got a lecture a book
So
and they put up on the spot
yes.
and they tell them exactly what
So
part to go jump.
I have been calling for that for some time now, right? For some time now. Start putting these people in check. When they come on audience, you guys, put them in check. After you guys are smart, you guys know that what they're saying is baloney and bullcrap, and does that make sense? Don't encourage that. Look them in the eyes and tell them, no, this is what it is, right? This is what you.
When they come out to their own supporters, though, Mr. Chairman. That are the problem that we have. Like right now, when these guys were out here recently, when PUP people
That's all I'm
go to their
saying,
thing,
right?
it's a party. After
Then
when guys come out here,
yes,
and
then
sadly,
sadly they're gonna come back home, come back to Belize and say, the diaspora. They're gonna cast a white the diaspora. This is what the diaspora want, and this is what they said.
When it's
right?
just a few of their own supporters, then
Right.
they all together.
So you know,
In fact, the same thing they did when they do the constitutional review stuff.
yes. But Greg, I want to say quickly, right? Touch a little thing quickly about the servants pay for the BL workers, right?
Mr.
Does
Chairman,
it make sense to me, real quick?
Mr. Chairman, the law is the law. We have precedent law, and Belize is run by the Privy Council, and we have Commonwealth Caribbean law.
Not by the Privy
That
Council anymore,
ruling,
Greg.
that
Hold on,
ruling,
Leonard, hold on.
that ruling and judgment has already been passed for BTL, and it is a precedent that goes for all companies that hires individuals. So there is no excuse when it comes to BL not paying these people. Likewise,
But
the government should hold itself accountable for the pensioners who already work. Some of them 30 plus years has passed,
yes,
and they have not got their money.
Well, Mr. Musa
So
was
they also are in
that.
violation of the said law.
He's agreeing that they're in violation of that said law too, Mr. Musa, as a lawyer, and he's trying to pretend now that he's so in favor of them correcting that error and doing the right thing. But he was in favor of doing the right thing months, I would say probably more than a year ago. When the
Mr. Chairman.
So I say this quickly, Leonard and Greg. Don't you think that this $73 million bailout to them, that they shouldn't have any problem paying these people?
That is not what it is, Mr. Chairman. It's about narrative and the figure of speech. And I will tell you why. The government, the present government has come to a point where it uses influential people I call cronies, implied cronies, to put out false narrative to the Belizean people, and I will prove it. I said recently.
Before you go to your tape, though, Greg, go ahead, finish.
I said recently, if those people in Belmopan got their way with the billboard, they will go after the Constitution. Now we see where Pastor Wade sits on the BBA board, and they are trying to take it all the way to social media that has nothing to do with the BBA. The BBA.
He also sat.
Hold on, Leonard. Let Greg finish. Yeah.
He also sat on the PCC, Greg.
Yes. The BBA and the rules of the BBA has to do with broadcasting waves, like radio station, TV station. Social media is totally different. It has never been done worldwide. And what they are trying to do is unconstitutional. Not only that, they will not be able to withstand because any Belizean or foreign entity
can
could
sue them
put
both.
up a business abroad and use it per se in Belize, and they will not be able to go after them.
After them.
A prime example is Belizean affair, which is run in the United States, and we just sat virtually on it. If we were doing commercial, there's no way the government can say we need a license, you and me, Mr. Wade, because we are only participants that sat on it virtually when it is run from the United States.
It's about suppression of the media and and public information.
It goes
When the
further than that.
Constitution under Section 13 tells the government exactly what their limitations are, but those guys don't respect the Constitution and don't respect our rights, and they want to do what they want, and we could dare them or try to stop them from doing what they want.
Mr. Brackett, it goes further than that. I want you, the people at home and abroad, to listen to this tape and listen at the blame game. Listen to the blame game. This is how the government is using, as I said, influential people to speak to the people of Belize, but pointing the finger at the people. Let's listen to the tape because I want to make it make sense.
We know that the sale and consumption of liquor is a contributing factor to a lot of the societal problems we're having, whether it is road traffic accidents, domestic violence, poverty, offenses, sexual offenses, labor offenses. So we know what the problems are, and we now have to bring those realities into a discussion framework. But you will also know that in that application, there are lots of challenges, whether it is with the license types, the license categories, the fees for the different categories of licenses, whether it is in the governance or administration, how the boards are appointed, who become board members, penalties, enforcement issues, the correlation to noise pollution, the playing of loud music. All of those things are creating some challenges for us as a society. We are getting a significant level of contributions, albeit from a very small list of attendees. People don't come to public meetings, my brother. But they are speaking on some critical issues, and I think what they are speaking on represents a lot of the societal views. Please come out, give your inputs, seek your clarification. Even in the current framework, if you're not clear about certain things, ask questions. And I want.
What is wrong with this? You are speaking to the people, but you're not asking your employer who is failing at external and internal policy. Who is supposed to protect the people? Why do we have a police department? Who is supposed to create jobs, long-term jobs, so we don't have poverty? You want to put all these blame as to the public, loud music and all that?
Don't we have a department that should control that? Don't we have a department that should control loud music?
That kind of word salad that gentleman was spitting out there on that tape that you played just now, Greg, is tantamount to a jackal coming to the public to blame the public for the malfeasance that the government is allowing to happen. Okay? And they now want to use the idea that the government going to have to create some additional laws, justifiably so according to them, based on that word salad that they're putting out there, for you to let the government go ahead and feel all right that they're looking after your interests. They're suppressing and oppressing you, your interests, and your rights.
Mr.
But they
Brackett,
don't
what
think that
was
we are
missing
able.
from the tape? What was missing that the gentleman did not say? And I will say it. Why did he abstain from speaking about the shooting that the government does not have the answer to? He's talking about alcohol is the cause. What
Just a
happened
word salad,
to
like I
the
said.
judicial system with less than 3% conviction rate that needs overhauling? We could start with that. What happened about the non-integrity of our police department who is kidnapping public people?
Beating people in public, you know, and
I
only
go
that,
to you, Mr. Chairman.
claiming a bogus cyberbullying law, and using the claim of violation of that particular cyberbullying law to go out there and physically beat down people and bully people. What the hell is wrong with these idiots?
Sad, sad to see these kinds of things happening. And you rightfully says, Greg, they're throwing all the blame on society, all the blame on the people. They're not blaming themselves, Greg, like you rightfully said, right? They're not blaming themselves. They are the one that the people put there to fix the problem. Fix it instead of blaming the people, right? And try to suppress people when they try to call you out so that you do your job and do it right and do it the right way. What you try to do, try to suppress people, right? So what kind of society are we living in, like you rightfully says there, right? Thank you. Time is always of an essence, Leonard, I want to, always thank you, my brother, Greg, thank
Welcome,
you
sir.
for, always, show and tell from their own mouth, right? And, again, thanks for, being here with us, Greg and Leonard, so that we could disseminate these kinds of actions to the public, right? And formulate our opinion, right? And say what is wrong. And we also offer solutions on our program, right?
Thank
But
you too, Mr. Chairman, for tonight's program.
But like I say, as
Nice
always,
program.
yes, thank you, Greg. Again, looking forward for Leonard, for you Friday night, and we welcome
Oh,
our viewers and listeners to,
by the
you
way,
know,
I'd asked Mr. Morrison if he wanted to chip in Friday night and share,
oh,
but he's
good,
supposed to
good,
get back
good.
in touch with me.
Yes,
See,
yes,
Mr.
Greg. I
Mr.
want you to close us out, Greg, please. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, before I close you out, I said something and I want to prove it to the people at home and abroad. I want you, the people at home and abroad, to see how this government is putting out a narrative to try to get you to forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
And I want
Wow.
you to hear it.
Wow.
What I would say to that, Paul, is that we are 1 year into our second term in office. We are 4 years out from the next general elections. The People's United Party government is in a good position to make it right by the Belizean people. We have an opportunity to fix procurement, which has bedeviled us for decades, not just this PUP administration, past UDP and PUP administrations. We have an opportunity now to make it right for the current procurement system and moving forward. And what does that entail? As the Prime Minister said, we're going to create an actual procurement unit, but in the meantime, we also have to put in place alerts for these under 10,000 payments that are coming out, because there's no way that the Ministry of Finance should not be alerted when a particular ministry is making so many payments in one particular day. And so there has to be alerts put in place. And as the Prime Minister said, anything under 50,000, we have to publish every single contract and every bid that was put in for that contract. And that might not be something that the people who are bidding are happy about, but at the end of the day, transparency and satisfying the Belizean public that they are getting the best value for money is what is important. So I think moving forward, we have an opportunity to fix that. And I personally think, while it may seem like a strained relationship, I think people have more trust and confidence in the PUP administration to get things right. And so I feel confident that that.
Exactly what I'm speaking about. You are asking the people to trust that you will fix it as though nothing ever happened. What happened to the laws of using your office for self-enrichment?
It's right there, black and white.
So you want us to bypass that? Taxpayers must bypass the amount of money that was used with all this, because they will fix it and it
Until
will
they get
be
catch
as
again.
though nothing never happened, as in the case of Budna that they haven't fixed yet.
Blow over like a lee breeze.
Again, thank you. Is that you want to close out your last word there, Leonard?
That's it, sir.
That's it, all right. Right.
I'm just glad to get that last one in.
Yes, sir, man. Sad.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead,
Mr.
Greg.
Chairman. I want to say that we have been sitting on this show for over 3 years, and you guys that sit with me virtually, my good cousin and you, Mr.
Past shows,
Ray.
so Greg, you got to mention past shows, not only the past shows we have been together, right?
Yes, all the
Past
past shows, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
You guys are highly appreciated, and I want the public at home and abroad to know that when we sit here, we are not speaking anything from offset that just comes to mind. That is why we show and tell what these people say and what they do. I will hope that the public will use our platform to better educate themselves and to help educate other individuals, because that is exactly what we are trying to do. And if you go back to our past shows for the record, I can personally see it. 95% out of 100, we have been right. And everything that we have said. So,
Mr.
with
Chairman,
that said,
before Greg signs us off, one last word.
Yes, sir.
In addition to the 467 programs that we have launched on this particular platform, we also have launched over 7,000 other postings that people can get themselves educated on in terms of what ails Belize and Belizean affairs. I yield back, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Brackett. So to you, the people at home and abroad, I don't want you to take Belizean affairs very lightly, because we sit here, but we are highly educated in what we are saying. When it comes to the Constitution speaks for itself, and I am highly educated in that field. So no one, no minister would sit with me and argue that. And I will put it further to the judges who sat in the courtroom, because majority of judges makes their ruling based on precedent case when each and every ruling, while different, should be rule pertaining to section 3 to 19 of the Belizean Constitution based on your fundamental right. So I want to leave you with this.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in a state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Government should be protecting us from the foul results of corruption instead of being the proponents and participants in corruption. When corruption is systemic, when it's a culture and a way of life, when corruption thrives, it destroys the health of the community and nation. Now let me tell you something. Defeating corruption is a very difficult thing. The love of money is the root of all evil, the Bible says. People who love money will do almost anything to get it. Those who choose to stand up against corruption, you need to know that we're going to be involved in a war. We will be threatened, vilified, intimidated, marginalized, and ridiculed. These kind of people who stand up against corruption will often feel alone, as if they are the problem instead of the solution. Corruption can only be defeated when enough people have had enough and decide to do something about it.